Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that feels so good, yes. Oh, indeed. Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, that feels good. Oh. What's the matter? Have you never heard a man enjoying the comfort of his new chair before? My God, people. Yeah, I've got a new chair, and it's very nice. It's nothing too special. It's one of those, they call them high back executive office chairs, I think. I'm sure you've seen the kind of thing. They're on wheels, they swivel, pull a little handle underneath, and that gives you a height adjustment as well. So, I've used those for years, and they do great for me, for what I want. But the last one, it was getting quite old. So the padding on the seat had started to compress down, so that wasn't very comfortable. But the big thing is the piston that gives you the height adjustment. Now, this probably doesn't help that I'm not the smallest or lightest gentleman you'll ever meet, but eventually these pistons do give way, and you'll be sat there one day and suddenly your chair sinks towards the ground. Now, I know from experience, once this starts happening, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse until you might have about a month, maybe two months if you're lucky, but it's just going to be happening that often by then that it's a complete pain in the ass. Or I suppose technically the lack of padding on the seat is actually the pain in the ass. The chair suddenly sinking down on the piston, that's just a pain in general. And certainly is while you're flying a plane anyway. So yeah, when that happens, it's time to give up, buy yourself a new chair, and that's what I've got right now. Thoroughly enjoying the fact that I've got a bit of padding under my backside, and no fears whatsoever about the piston suddenly giving way. Not for a year or so anyway. Right then, so Just Flying episode number 12. We've left NZTL Lake Tekapo and we're going to go to NZGT Glentana. Although this isn't a normal Just Flying episode, because this is actually my second attempt at making this video. So I was planning on going to Mount Cook Airfield instead, because that's a very nice place, not too far away, so it would be ideal. But on the way there, you're not too far away from Glentana, which isn't an airfield I ever land at. Mount Cook's really close, Tekapo's really close, so I always go to one of those two instead. I just never use Glentana. And to be honest, it was fairly early on in my scenery making, so it's not that great either. So I do never go there. I thought, okay, I'm not going to go there in this video either, but I can fly past and maybe we could wave at it and say hello. It'd be something stupid to talk about. But as I flew past, I saw on the ortho some markings that looked like there was a grass runway there. Now, I've also did a quick check on the topo map, and to be fair, that just gives you a little dotted line about where airfields' outlines are. But that did look like this extra runway had suddenly appeared. So I thought, okay, abandon flight, let's go back to Tekapo and get the Baron out, because this is always my test flying aeroplane, and I'll go and try and land on this grass runway and see if it is possible to land there. And if it is okay, I might do an upgrade to Glentana to put the grass runway into the place. So that's what we're doing with this flight, is to go and see if we can land on this new runway. But there's one more thing that you need to know here, which is sometimes I do these videos live, but quite a few of them I record the flight first, and then this audio of me talking, I record that as a second thing afterwards. The reason being, my joystick has got a slight squeak on it, and sometimes the microphone can pick that up. So I thought the last thing anybody wants to hear is the sounds of a man holding onto his joystick and thrusting it backwards and forward. I could probably have phrased that better, couldn't I? But you know what I mean. You don't want to hear the squeaks. So that's why I do this as we're doing right now, which is record a flight first and then record me talking as the audio is a totally separate thing afterwards. So during the gap after making the flight, let's just check this out and see when this grass runway appeared. As I said, it's fairly early on in my scenery making career, so this just could be my failure that it was always there and I didn't spot it and I haven't put it in, or it might be something fairly new. So I found an AIP for Glentana, which may well be the most current one. I don't know, it's dated at 2021. But the thing is, it says this grass runway isn't a grass runway, it's a grass taxiway. And it also specifically says you can only land and take off at this airport on the hard surface runway, which now kind of makes this entire video a little bit pointless, because I'm here to test if we can successfully land on a runway that's not actually a runway, and we're not allowed to land there anyway. So yeah, that's a bit of a failure really, isn't it? But never mind, we'll go and see what it's like anyway. Then Mount Cook will take our flight up to there in episode 13. We will get there eventually. Yeah, you can see it coming up here. It sort of looks runway-ish, doesn't it? You can see how I could make that mistake. It's certainly wide enough. It's actually wider than some genuine runways. So. But no, apparently it's not. It is just a taxiway. Never mind, it's sort of uphill, but it is fairly flat, isn't it? I could have made that into a runway if it was one. I don't think I will bother with an upgrade though, because with this being a fairly early one for me, I hadn't discovered the art of tilting things to follow the terrain. So if you look at some of these houses, they're actually perfectly level, which means that the corners are stuck up into the air. So if I was going to do an upgrade to this airfield, it would have to be a fairly major one and do all the buildings, everything else as well. And for the fact that I'm never going to use the place anyway, yeah, that's a bit more effort than I'm really going to be bothered with. So there we are then, a totally pointless trip to Glentana, and we'll go to Mount Cook next time. See you soon.